Hey, this is Zach, and we wanted to take a few minutes today and show you kind of the basics of pouring a foundation for your home or cabin. This is going to be pouring a slab, and basically a slab is just a very simple and effective way to do a foundation. It's a flat piece of concrete. I'm going to kind of try to keep up with the photos. There are the form boards. You can see some dirt piled around the outside edges to keep the foam boards from pouring out once the cement goes in there. There's a close-up. I really didn't prepare for this, so I'm going to look at these photos and wing it. You can see it's a little higher in the center. That's to save on concrete, and then it's a little deeper around the edges, which basically serves as a footer. We're talking about a 20 by 30 slab generally on our properties. That's the minimum size. This slab right here that we're looking at is smaller. I believe it was 14 by 24. There's just a look at one of the joints. The board that is protruding out, there's no special reason for that other than we didn't need to cut the board, so we didn't cut that board. Let's see where we are here. Okay. So it took about a day to kind of prep the area, fairly level area, get your boards in. We used rebar on the outside of the boards. We screwed them together and then also used rebar to kind of keep them from going anywhere. There's the cement truck. I wanted to get that photo in here because cement truck, the drivers, they'll go just about anywhere. And that guy, he just backed right up there. Fantastic. Couple guys in there working the concrete. This is kind of an interesting video. It's been 10 years since these guys did this slab. I wasn't there for the whole thing, but you'll see there's a lot of things that they aren't doing, and I'm sure we'll hear from concrete contractors on this. They don't have any wire mesh in that. I would highly recommend you use wire mesh, sheets of wire mesh, and tie them together. What these guys did afterwards was they took a ton of 2 and 3 foot sections of rebar and they strategically dropped it down into the concrete. That seems to be fine, but I would recommend the wire mesh. It's pretty easy. I would have put plastic over the dirt and then done the wire mesh and supported that off the plastic. But anyway, spreading out the cement, you'll generally have one guy with a I don't know what the name for the tool is, but kind of like a draw rake or whatever to pull the cement back. You can see the 2x4 there. That's called a screed. You get one guy on each end, and you use the form boards as your guide, and you saw back and forth over it, tilt it toward the unfinished edge slightly, and you saw back and forth and pull it, and that'll do a really good job of kind of leveling out the concrete that's there. You can see the low spots. All you do is you throw a little concrete in the low spot and go right back over it with the screed. So now they're about halfway done. They're doing just fine. Looks like we had about 4 guys on this deal, 4 or 5 guys. Really, you want 2 minimum. Sometimes the concrete driver will help out. Sometimes they're not willing to get in there and get dirty, but the more guys, the better on a concrete job, but bare minimum of 2, even for a small deal like this. Okay, so that's one of the guys that was doing the slab, and he's running the chute on the concrete truck. Their chutes are extendable and they move around quite a bit. So really, I think they had to move the truck one time for this entire slab. They're just about to finish up with the form, and then the concrete driver takes off, and they'll get the screeding all done, and that's when they'll get out the bull floats, the bull float that you'll see in a minute here. Okay, so the concrete driver's just about to take off. He's got a little more to put down. Okay, so he's using the bull float now, and that's how you'll start to level out the concrete and make it look all nice and pretty. You push it forward, then you rotate the handle, which maneuvers the head, rotates the head a little bit, and then you pull it back towards you again. And that you've already screeded the concrete with that 2x4, And so it's already fairly level. Now the bull float is going to start to pull, kind of pull the water more or less up to the surface. With that, you don't want to hit it too hard with the bull float because you can get too much water up at the surface. But just a couple times over it with the bull float, you'll get a surprisingly good finish with that. There he's pushing it forward. And then some people leave it just like that with the bull float. There'll be a few lines from kind of the edges of the float. You can see that. What that line in the middle is a chalk line that the guys snapped because they wanted to broom the surface on the right, which will end up being the porch of the cabin. And you'll see that in a moment. So the chalk line was just to mark where they were going to broom the finish. But there's a look at the slab after it's been bull floated. For a garage, that's probably okay. This was going to be a little cabin, so all they'll do is they'll go back over it in about half an hour or so. There you can see the line from the broom, but they'll go back over it with trowels and just work the trowel gently back and forth, and that'll really smooth it out and make a good serviceable finish. The porch, like I said, they were doing the broom finish, and there's the broom. Good. So that's just a really simple little flat broom, and you drag it towards you over the surface while the concrete is very wet, and that'll give you that broom kind of non-slip finish, which is really nice on a porch for a cabin. So now working the bull float a little more, looks like the broom finish is completely done. Let's see where we are. Okay. So coming up, it looks like there's another look at the slab. I don't think that's been troweled yet. Like I say, you have to wait for the concrete to harden up a little bit before you get in there with the trowel. You can also use 2 foot by 2 foot pieces of plywood to kneel on. So there's the finished product. We've got the broom finish on the porch. Comes out really well. Tons of little things that you can look into as far as details, but we just wanted to do this to show people that this is not a huge project. Couple buddies, and you can have this done in 3 or 4 hours, that slab. Let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to subscribe. Keep watching all of our other videos. Check us out on social media along with YouTube. We have Facebook and Instagram. And be sure to check us out at outcastland.com.